Hello there in China squads. Welcome back to another exciting video on Shiweva in China YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you are here watching this video. And how are you doing? How have you been doing? Myself, I've been doing great. I am Rosalia Shiweva living in Beijing, China. And today I'm just showing you the craziest thing that someone can ever explore or ever go through in China is actually living in Beijing. I never knew that Beijing life is this complicated until when I moved to Beijing. Because I lived in other cities and life was a little bit slower and the metro station was bearable. But the one for Beijing is definitely unbearable. And I noticed that a lot of foreigners would wake up so early in the morning, around 5 a.m., just to catch the subway, maybe to go to their workplaces or go to their schools. And that is a tale of a lot of foreigners. But there are other foreigners who really just don't want to take the subway because of how complex Beijing's subway is. If you don't know, Beijing has over 23 subway lines. And in 2019, they reported that there were about 394 stations. And if you are going to wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m., and get to a location or a destination that is about 1 hour, 30 minutes early in the morning, as early as 6 a.m., you could hardly get any sitting place on the subway. It's always packed. It's so crazy and so tiring. And also another thing is when you're using the Beijing subway, when you are interchanging from one line to the next, you have to walk a long distance. And most of the time, I was scoring about 10,000 steps every single day. And imagine, you don't only have time to be on the subway, which is about 1 hour, 30 minutes, but you also have to walk the steps that you did not intend to do. And that's why they say when you see us flexing online, you never really know what we are going through while living abroad. Another thing is, as early as 6 a.m., you will not get a seat, a sitting place or a sitting position, because it will be bearable if you are on the subway and still have a chance to sit down. But as early as 6 a.m., all the sitting positions can be taken and you will need to stand for whatever distance that you're going, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, you name it. And it has been very interesting experiencing this. I really just didn't know that Beijing life was that complicated. And if you are planning to come to Beijing and planning to use the public transportation, you should be prepared to actually experience that hardship and complicated subway lines. And I've met even foreigners on the subway. Some foreigners will start chatting. I met one lady from Uganda, and we even exchanged contacts. We were chatting early in the morning, and I was just like, girl, I didn't know this is how you guys are living in Beijing. So it could be a tale of goodness and also just a tale of hardship, because honestly, it is just so hectic. And mind you, it's as early as 6 a.m., it's so packed. Round about 9 a.m., it can get crazily packed, where you're not even able to breathe. All you can feel is like repelling forces of jackets in the subway. And it's good to notice that there are over 23 lines in Beijing subway, but the busiest line is line 10, which is a circular line and is the biggest in the Beijing metro in terms of sizes, because it has about 45 stations. One line has about 45 stations. And the funny thing about Beijing metro station is you would say, okay, I'm going to go to just maybe 4 or 5 stations away. It can even take you about 30 minutes just to cover about 4 or 5 stations. Some stations can be so far apart. And so it's just so complicated. Yeah. If you are actually planning to come to Beijing, let me know in the comments section. What are some things that you would like to know about Beijing as I explore? For me, I cannot do the subway. The subway is definitely cancelled because it is so exhausting and tiring. But the infrastructure on its own is really good because it's clean, it's comfortable. On days when it's not really busy, like in the afternoons, yeah, it can be comfortable, but otherwise it is just too hectic to do. And I noticed that Beijing is not that place where you could think you are in one day, you could do a lot of things like going to different places in one day. No, you'll definitely need to plan like few activities in one day because locations are just so far apart, especially if you're using public transportation. Yeah, this is my experience. I hope you guys like this video. Until my next video, stay tuned for more.